Almost done. I just need a company now to help me complete my crossover. Well, who can I choose? Capcom? Nah. Bandai Namco? They already have their own crossover series, I think. SNK? You know, forget it. All these companies I mentioned have their own sort of crossovers in relation to each other. Wait a minute, what about EA? I'm sure they have deadly foes than Marvel, or IPs that are deadlier than Marvel. Now I need to choose between Marvel and EA. Which character to choose? Give me a second, guys. That's it, done. I've created my best ultimate crossover thing. Anyways, I'm just gonna tell you which character I wrote down. Let's go. Alright, I pretty much made the list of characters that I've chosen for Marvel and EA. But let's start with Marvel now, shall we? Okay, first we've got Rockman. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Arachnophobia. Can you eat cat with that? You know the infamous can you eat with that? Yeah, whatever. Hugh Jackman. You know what happens when Thor gets struck by lightning? Me neither, I forgot the line. Lord Helmut. Ben Affleck, and lastly Jennifer Garner. Now these characters I chosen are pretty irrelevant by today's standard, but who cares, they're already in the game. I haven't played the game yet, so let's just pretend I haven't. Now EA side we have loot boxes, microtransaction, surprise mechanics. Oh boy, I'm breaking a cold sweat here. This is too much for Marvel. Sports game, child gambling, best company for the last decade. Sarcasm right there, guys. And lastly, the infamous quote, challenge everything. And there you go. That's pretty much the list that I made. Well, now I've done all that stuff, it's time to play the actual game now, so let's go and play the game. Crossovers. Everyone wishes they can merge their favorite franchises together. Example being Marvel or X-Men vs Capcom, Tekken vs Street Fighter, SNK vs Capcom, so on and so on. But who would wonder that Marvel would collab with EA of all companies, eh? Marvel and EA both formed a partnership back in 2004. Yeah, I wonder how that turned out. And made Rise of the Imperfects miniseries comic book, only making 6 issues. Published by Marvel, the series were written by Greg Pak, who was experienced in writing comic books before, and drawn by Renato Arlem, hopefully I said that right, doing many cover arts for Marvel. The comic was a tie-in and a prequel to the games, however both contradict each other's story, so there's no point in reading it, but it's your choice anyways. The game was released between September and October 2005 respectively, and on different consoles, such as PS2, Xbox, GameCube, PSP and DS. But the partnership between Marvel and EA ended in 2006, meaning that there'd be no more story of this franchise, lost with all the other IPs. Now this game received negative reception due to the lack of story and limited multiplayer, but we won't focus on the multiplayer because that's dead, so But what the people criticized mostly was the AI, as they will spam long distance projectile and long range attack, dealing hefty amount of damage to you, and lastly when your health reached a certain amount of percentage, they will unleash a fatality like move on you. It's not a fatality, more like a finishing move, but the point is the match will finish quickly without you having a chance to retaliate back, making it even playing field. But that was back then. I know they can't update the game with patches like we have nowadays, but it can't be that bad now, can it? Well, let's find out. Well, since it's met with negative reviews, I'm gonna start with the story mode first, to see what it's all about, and to find out if it's terrible or not. The story starts with a thing casually walking across the bridge, where suddenly the aliens or whatever attack the bridge. You control the thing and move forward towards the end of the bridge, but it's intercepted by an invader. What? That's the first enemy we face? He doesn't look that menacing, to be honest. Anyways, once you reach the end, you fight a boss that has no hands. Trust me, I'll be angry too. But is no match for the Thing as he clobbers him. See what I did there? And tries to find some answers to the invasion, but the aliens reveal that they don't want him and will come for him later.
This is a News 12 special report.
Okay. I watched plenty of news in my lifetime, but not today, thank you very much.
New York City under attack from unidentified forces. We join Claire Strauss live on the scene.
Jim, it's crazy out here. I have never seen anything like this. The streets are filled with debris. There are bodies. We're just trying to take cover. Oh, did you see that? Where's Captain America?
Nah, just a flesh wound. He'll be alright.
Oh, this is horrible. The attackers, they seem to be coming out of nowhere. We've had unconfirmed reports that the Punisher is missing in action.
I mean, he's on vacation. Must have dropped the gun and a flag on his way there.
Jim, are you getting this? Is that the Hulk? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh my god, they killed Captain America, Punisher and the Hulk. How do we even fare against them? This game is dark for my taste, and I'm not even talking about the game itself. One thing I want to say before we go back to the plot of the game is that the story is structured in a way that you get to choose your missions and skip a certain part of it. You know, I'll get to that one later, but I thought I might as well bring it up to you now. Continuing on with the Thing, nothing important happens here. You just defend the city by defeating hordes of enemies in normal or time trial missions. Next, you're introduced to Wolverine, who looks a bit different from what you're used to, and learns of the invasion as he fights his way through the streets, arriving at the Avengers mansion, only to have it overrun by aliens. You avoid the lasers by wall climbing and quickly dispatching the enemies. Once that's done, you fight a mysterious person called the Wink, who is stealing intel from the Avengers computer. You fight one-on-one and win as Wolverine interrogates her, only for her to say she's collecting intel for her maker, and vanishes. Okay, this next part I'm going to talk about the gameplay, because this next mission is really something else. Wolverine finds Storm on the bridge, but she isn't herself as she attacks Wolverine, and it's up to you to stop her. This boss fight is horrendous. As you'll see, she spams you with her long projectiles, unable for you to get closer. But when you do get closer, she spams you with her special throw, unable to get combos. Not only that, but when your health reaches danger, for a split second when she's close enough, that's it, you're dead, bye bye. It is extremely one-sided and unfair as it took me 9 frustrating minutes to beat it, but it doesn't stop there because the hitbox is also terrible. Before it was terrible because you fight in weaker hordes of enemies, but once you fight a boss or a strong opponent, you're all over the place, as there is no lock-on feature, which would have been useful. Instead you use your analog to point at the enemies, but you have to be on pinpoint accuracy, as if you know slightly off target, you attack face to face with no contact, or attack thin air, or attack objects which they stand behind. It's so annoying. Not only that, but this game has a raid system. When activated, you can use unlimited special attack for a certain amount of time. Now this isn't bad for other missions, but for boss mission it is frustrating, as they can use it too and spam their long projectiles, leaving it one-sided. And in one other missions, they even have unlimited range, but you have to reduce their health to a certain percentage. That was a rant and a half now, wasn't it? Now I know the problem of why the gameplay and AI were so critically received. Negative received, I mean. You can relax and enjoy the story, but once you fight against a boss, the difficulty just shoots up sky high, you know, and it just becomes unfair and unbalanced really. But back to the story then. Elektra wanders in the Avengers mansion and gets a call from Daredevil saying that he's in trouble. You find them at the top of Daily Bugle, but before that, this section is awful. I died 3 times due to poor mechanics, as this game expects you to wall climb one building to another, but Elektra decides to jump to her death every time. You find Daredevil as he's being controlled by a strange alien device. You save him by removing the device from his neck, but you are introduced to the main antagonist, Niles Van Rokel, and his 6 Imperfects, as he is disappointed by Daredevil's work and sends his main Imperfects into the city. Now you have a segment where you can play as one of the 6 Imperfects, let's just say Imperfects, to defeat certain heroes. Now the best way to go about this is to choose how you start the story chronology wise. Alright, I think I said it right, good, right. Example, the Thing, Wolverine, Elektra, and so on. You know, not only that, but when you start the mission, you are introduced to a backstory of these 6 Imperfects as well, so you get to learn more about them and the history. But since we're about to choose and play with one of these villains, instead of me explaining the backstory, I'll just show it to you in these weird cutscenes. I mean, they are weird, but it's cool, I guess. Well, for me it's cool.
Young Maria Petrov trained very hard to be the prima ballerina in a Bolshoi ballet. She was taught total control, perfection in every move. As the pride of Russia, she began a tour of the world from Los Angeles. I had my own plans of greatness for her talents.
Unfortunate event shortened my career. When Dr. Rocco came to me, he said that the other doctors were all wrong. He told me he could make me dance again. I believed in Rocco. As I dreamed of performing on stage again, he crafted seismic accelerators. He trained me to concentrate the seismic impact. I will now seek my revenge on the rest of the world.
Now, since you play as the villains, of course you're gonna win, as the thing is easily defeated. Daredevil, now no longer possessed by the device, wants redemption, as he fights his way on the rooftop and makes his way to the Grand Central Terminal, where he meets Johnny Orm and engage in a battle. Now, you're at a disadvantage as Johnny Orm can recharge his super meter by attracting electricity via the electric clock, but you could easily destroy that by throwing objects at it. But then it shifts to a different character called Paragon, who is a local best and deadly warrior. This mission is basically a training exercise, nothing more. Once finished, Daredevil finds Elektra under control. However, she quickly poisons him by throwing a kunai knife, but it isn't a threat as she quickly comes to her senses. Now, this mission has a gimmick that where your health is slowly reduced over time, but like I said, it's no problem. Later, Storm arrives on the bridge as she fights her way towards the end. There, she meets up with Fault Zone. The gimmick of this match is that she can throw boulders at you by creating tremors on the ground. Now, this match can get easily annoying, but it's doable. Next up is Brigade, as he fights against Wolverine. Well, I know how this fight is gonna end up. Enjoy.
It was to be a simple mission. Drop a package in hostile territory. Precision was necessary.
Our position was compromised. This wasn't expected. A chain reaction detonated the package and killed all of us. The gas kept our cellular tissues alive. And we became part of Rokel's most twisted experiment. Merging our body parts with huge cybernetic armored appendages. He fused our brains to an alien neural network. Upon his memories, and dark as demons became a waking nightmare. I became the ultimate warrior.
Venom, my favorite character to play as, steals intel from Avengers Mansion, learning about the alien device. As he later on battles on the bridge, you find out that he can heal himself with an alien device. However, he enters the power plant and is confronted by Solara, who uses the device to enhance her attack, and during this fight, she can heal herself by using fire. But again, this fight is easy. Just throw heavy objects at her and that's it, done. Then Venom takes the device and uses it on himself, enhancing his own abilities, and want to meet his old friend. I wonder who could that be. By the way, his infected design looks awesome. Why did I do that? Whatever. It just looks good. Another hero goes down. You fight Elektra and learn the backstory of the Wink. What kind of name is the Wink? Winky Face. Winky Face.
Her father was proclaimed to be a fabulous entertainer. He was really more of a drunk and a gambler than a magician.
Fearing for my safety, on the night which she planned our escape, my mother passed along to me the secret of her magic. I was too afraid to go with her. I regret not taking that chance. Dad was cursed with bad luck and was quickly getting in over his head. One night, they came to collect. I used my mother's magic and fled for my life. I made a living by taste to the desperate. And that's how Dr. Van Rokel found me. He told me he would reunite me with my mother, that he knew where she was. Rokel put a particle reactor in my hip which allowed me to teleport and transpose dimensions. Each time I disappear, I hope that when I come back, I'll be with my mother. Until then, I fight for that chance.
Now Rokel wants to mass produce Paragon as an army to be unstoppable, but she slowly starts to remember who she is or who she was as she fights her way through and escapes to headquarters. Now I want to talk about the graphics, since this game hasn't aged really well. The cutscenes are awful, as when some of the characters get up close to the camera, their model gets all slimy and weird. The background texture is yuck, but that's all I have to say on it. So Spider-Man gets a call from the Human Torch, thinking that Paragon has gone to the power plant. As Spider-Man destroyed the alien computer, Paragon was not found. But our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man must protect the rescue helicopter from aliens as they're trying to save civilians. Literally, Spider-Man is the only superhero you see that saves civilians from aliens, and to be honest, I prefer it that way. Spider-Man then travels at the top of the Bugle. There he meets up with Venom, thinking that he could beat Spider-Man, but even infected Venom was no match for our web-headed hero. More heroes are defeated as you fight Daredevil and learn the origin story of Solara.
Her biological father was a Yakuza boss. Forced into hiding after a public assassination. He was enraged to find out that Rico's mother had started a new life with the rivals clan. She gave birth to his daughter in another man's house. Feeling dishonored, Morimoto-san sought his revenge through fire. The maid returned in the morning. She found baby Rico miraculously in the middle of the burnt structure, without a scratch.
My adoptive father was a brilliant physicist. I learned a great many things from him. My university research in cold combustion fuels was highly sought after. There was an accident. Everyone perished. Rokel seduced me with science. He turned me into the ultimate containment field by lining my insides with alien crystals. Fire was no longer my curse, but my salvation. I am Solara.
You also have to defeat Spider-Man as well. I mean, I really didn't want to do it, but you also learn the origin of Johnny Ohm.
Johnny Ostrom and Trouble ran in the same circles. He was first in his class at this school of hard knocks.
Some local kids were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The cops, they beat them to death. So they nailed me to the wall for their skull-bashing antics.
John Ostrom, the state of Louisiana, condemns you to death.
On the third try, lightning struck the jail and blew out the transformer. He's still alive. It was Rokel who saw the benefits of my electric personality. He put a dupe in my place. And I was free. He used me as a capacitor. I was covered with terminals like a huge Tesla coil. I could pull electricity out of the air. And I became Johnny Ohm.
Human Torch, who can't find Spider-Man at the top of Daily Bugle, travels to the Grand Central Station, defeating the aliens and locating a hidden underground headquarters. Reaching the end, you find the Thing, who has been infected by the device. Defeating him will return him to normal. Iron Man returns to the Avengers mansion and destroys the main computer so that the aliens can't gain any more intel from it. Once that's done, he heads to the power plant, hoping to look for clues, as he is stopped by Brigade. They both clash as Iron Man comes out on top. Rokul emerges from the shadows with his armor suit that kinda looks like Lex Luthor's suit, but oh well, what can you do, eh? And retreats with Brigade. Now here is the last imperfect that you'll learn about, as he takes on Venom. Now to be honest, if he said who was my favorite imperfect, I have to say Hazmat. Anyways, enjoy backstory.
Dr. Keith Killam was destined to solve the greatest riddle of the 21st century. How to find an antidote to the world's most lethal virus. He was close to creating a super antigen. A terrorist attack caused the containment procedures to be rendered useless.
I injected myself with all of the synthetic antigens I had developed. My body's chemical composition was altered. The antigens were breaking down. All bonds in my cells. Local scientists were very interested by my condition. Using nanites, they created a micro-robotic shell for my extremities, and they salvaged what they could of my organs. I have to live to find a cure.
And the last Marvel hero, Sauter. You play as Magneto. Now, Magneto is searching for Paragon through the city, eventually finding her hiding between two garbage disposals, but as he sweet talks her into becoming his minion, she is kidnapped by Hazmat. Magneto then chases after him in the Grand Central, as Hazmat warns Magneto you can't control her, but he doesn't heed his warning as Hazmat is defeated. He uses the device in hoping to control her, but Paragon breaks free from the device and defeats Magneto. Paragon then heads to the headquarters, defeating the aliens and stopping Rokul's plan of invasion by destroying clone machines. Doing so, she meets with him as he reveals her past. Her name was Maya and was found in a primitive land of South America, as her tribe and daughter was killed, but Rokul found her and infused her body with his own race, creating an ultimate killing machine called Paragon. But she's having none of that, and they both have a fight to the death. Okay, now this fight is unfair. I know it's the final mission and all, so that difficulty will go all the way up, but at this point, the difficulty is not the problem. The problem is that Lex can mostly throughout this match can heal his health and super meter. The only way I won was that I spammed my long range attacks, causing him to fall against a force field wall that took your health away little by little. It's cheap and stupid gimmick. Anyways, Maya wins as Rokul confesses his story as to why he created the Imperfects. Once upon a time, a so-called refugee invaded his planet and took over, killing most of his kind. Only a handful of resistant members made it out alive, so that's why he created the Imperfects, so that he can reclaim his homeland from the invaders. After telling his story, he melts and poof, disintegrates into nothing, so I guess Maya's a leader now? Anyways, that was my review of Marvel Imperfect Rise of the Nemesis. No, Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfect. How was it then? I mean, I played it when I was a kid, so I have like a little bit of nostalgia to it. If you asked me back then, I would say this game is awesome. But back then I had like 3 video games to play. That, GTA and Resident Evil 4. Well, GTA San Andreas, but I mean, when you don't have a lot of things, you can really make a terrible game look good. Okay, first I'm going to talk about the gameplay. Now, the gameplay was all over the place, from having no lock-on feature, terrible hitboxes, and also this game is pretty unbalanced as well, because it favors heavy guys and girls, no judging, but it just favors heavies with long range attacks. Example being Venom, Iron Man, Paragon and Brigade. So that's the gameplay done. Onto the story. Now the story, although not the best in my opinion, it was actually alright. I mean the beginning of the story was spot on when you learn what happened in that news cutscene thingy. I don't think it's terrible, it's just that they probably didn't like that the missions are repetitive, because you do the same thing over and over with a little bit of spices, but that's about it. The story is alright. Now the graphics, I said what I can to be honest, but one thing I will say that I like is the art design. You can see their normal unaffected form. Some of the artworks are awesome, whilst others are terrifying. And the music is very good as well. It reminds me of that Marvel heroism type music stuff, so that gets that got 2 broken thumbs for me. And that's it then. I've said what I can. If you ask me would I recommend buying this game, I would say buy it for collecting purposes. Try it on an emulator, or just if you have PlayStation 2, just buy it then. Anyways, I need to stop now, so remember to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah, I'll see you later then, so bye bye. No matter what anyone says, you always have a special place in my heart and in my stomach.